Hello everyone, it's Tuesday and you're watching Within the Frame. I'm Kim Bo-kyung. President Yoon Suk Yeol today arrived in Washington for a 6-day state visit and had dinner with around 170 Korean Americans at a hotel in Washington. Now this year is a symbolic one marking the 70th anniversary of the alliance and the 120th anniversary of Korean immigration to the United States. Now how has the Korean community prospered within American society so far? And what are the challenges left and what should be at the center of the next 70 years of the alliance? For an in-depth analysis, we invite James Kim, Operations Board Chairman of Korean American Chamber of Commerce USA. James, welcome to the show.
Good evening, Bo-kyung. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for being here. And we also have Mark Jaffe, President of the Greater New York Chamber of Commerce. Good to see you, Mark.
Good morning.
All right, first question to our James. Now, this year is meaningful for Korean Americans as 2023 marks the 120th anniversary of the first Korean immigrants arriving in Hawaii. Now, just around 100 immigrants landed on the U.S. territory at the time, and now the number of Korean Americans has reached nearly 2.5 million. Now, before we discuss the achievements made by the Korean community, what were the challenges they had to face as immigrants, and what were some turning points?
Well, Korean immigrants in the United States have a long and complex history marked by both triumphs and struggles. They have faced numerous challenges as they navigate their new lives in a foreign land. Like many minority groups, they have faced discrimination and prejudice. They have subject to racial slurs, hate crimes, and other forms of discrimination that can make it difficult to feel accepted and included. The Red Apple boycott in 1990 and the LA riots in 1992 inflicted by the killing of Rodney King by white police officers, which resulted in a Korean-Black conflict and caused 50 deaths, over 1,000 injuries, and $1 billion in property damage. This marks a turning point for Korean Americans, leading to the forging of a new identity as Korean Americans. The LA incident highlighted the need for political representation for Korean Americans who have since produced 4 House reps and numerous state and local level elected officials across the nation. Nowadays, we are seeing more and more places where Korean Americans are gaining enough political power to actually impact the results of elections.
Right, that sure is a history to look at. Now, Mark, this year actually commemorates the 70th anniversary of the KoreaUS alliance as well. Now, for all those years, what has the strategic partnership between Seoul and Washington meant to the Korean community in the U.S.?
Well, it's meant a lot to the Korean community. It's meant a lot to the United States, our citizens. We really appreciate the friendship and the strategic partnership and the alliance that was created. I mean, obviously, we must deter aggression from North Korea. And now it's important that we're allies throughout the world because of what's happening with Russian power and Chinese power. It's fantastic that we're able to hold this alliance together for 70 years and having our 2 presidents meet in Washington, D.C. to discuss future progress on how we can work together to strengthen our economies, to support our families, will continue to grow. Our cultures share a lot, our past shares a lot, but our future will be even brighter.
Right. I cannot agree more. Now, James, Korean Americans are achieving remarkable accomplishments in many sectors, including in politics, where 4 Korean Americans were all re-elected to the United States House of Representatives. Now, since our experts are all related to the Chamber of Commerce, I'd like to focus on the business sector. How has such participation by Korean Americans in U.S. politics helped represent the interests of Korean American businesses, and how is the Korean American business sector being recognized these days?
Well, Korean Americans have made some amazing strides in political representation recently. Andy Kim, Young Kim and Michelle Park Still are just a few of the prominent Korean American elected officials who have made great contributions to the business and Korean American communities. And get this, all 4 Korean American members of Congress introduced a bipartisan resolution to designate November 22nd as Kimchi Day. Korean Americans are also known for their strong entrepreneurial spirit and success in small businesses. The government and organizations have recognized their contributions with resources and accolades from the White House Initiative on Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders, the National Minority Supply Development Council, and the U.S. Small Business Administration. In fact, according to the data from the U.S. Census Bureau 2012 survey of business owners, Korean Americans owned about 250,000 firms with assets of nearly 110 billion, and it's believed that the number has grown to well over 300,000 now.
Right, I see. Now, Mark, moving on to the partnership between Seoul and Washington on the economic front. Now, the South Korea and U.S. Free Trade Agreement marks its 11th year this year, and South Korea joined the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework as well, participating in the second round of official negotiations last month. How do you evaluate the partnership between Seoul and Washington on the economic front?
Well, our economic partnership is vital. Hardworking communities can help support the world through jobs, and jobs support families, and that's very important. That was a hard-fought battle to get the KoreaUS agreement done. It took 5 years, and 11 years later, things are good. Our exports of many items, electrical, our agriculture, our medical supplies, are able to get in there, creating jobs in the United States. Obviously, the Republic can send goods out to the United States. We're still working on trade deficit balances, but overall, I think a new framework will be worked out by the International Pan-Economic Group, IPEF, and other great partners. Obviously, the Republic, Korea is the leader. They're the only non-NATO ally that we truly have. They've shown their importance and partnership over and over again since the Korean War, where we all worked together, the Vietnam War, most recently the Iraq War. But today, the strategic and economic partnership are so important because of what's happening with Russian and Chinese aggression. And of course, the nuclear threat from North Korea. We stand behind the partnership. And I'm glad that our 2 presidents are here working together. And I look forward to the future partnership.
Right, I'm glad as well. Now, James, today we are facing global supply chain disruption caused by the war in Ukraine and, of course, COVID-19. And currently, the rivalry between the U.S. and China is getting fiercer than ever. How significant is the economic partnership between Seoul and Washington, and in what ways can the 2 countries benefit from each other?
Well, Korea and the United States are working on several initiatives to deepen their economic partnership and address regional and global challenges. These initiatives include cooperation on infrastructure, energy, digital economy, smart cities, and natural resources management. The 2 countries are also committed to fostering strong and resilient supply chains of critical products such as semiconductors, EV batteries, health-related supplies, and critical minerals through enhanced bilateral and multilateral cooperation. They are also exploring potential for bilateral cooperation under the CHIPS and Science Act.
Right. Now, James, I'd like to ask you this. Partnership in the overall economy is, of course, very important, but what also matters is how Korean American businesses are represented and helped. So what kind of efforts have the Korean American Chamber of Commerce in the U.S. Made up to now to boost the competitiveness of Korean American businesses?
Well, the Korean American Chamber of Commerce USA, KAKUSA for short, was founded in 1980 to support and advocate for the interests of Korean American business. With 70 regional chapters, KAKUSA provides each members with valuable resources such as networking opportunities, educational programs, and advocacy services. KAKUSA also serves as a bridge between the United States and Korea, promoting trade and investment, cultural exchange, and cooperation between the two countries. With over 300,000 Korean American businesses nationwide, KAKUSA plays a crucial role in strengthening the Korean American business community. KAKUSA is proud to announce that it will be hosting the 21st World Korean Business Convention, or KBIS Expo 2023, in Anaheim, California from October 11 through 14, 2023. In partnership with the Korean government agencies, this event will unite over 400 Korean business leaders, 100 plus importers, 4,000 entrepreneurs, and various Korean government entities to strengthen trade ties between the United States and Korea. The expo marks the 70th anniversary of the alliance between the two countries and will showcase their achievements and potential for future collaboration. It is a celebration of a strong bond between the U.S. and Korea and an opportunity to explore new avenues for partnership and growth. It's a vital platform for Korean businesses and entrepreneurs to network and explore global opportunities. Large and small U.S. corporations, as well as government agencies, are invited to participate in this significant trade event. On the other hand, this event will also feature an exhibition hall and performances that celebrate the Korean wave, attracting Hallyu fans who will enthusiastically share their experiences on social media. If you're attending the 4-day event, you will have access to a variety of special events, including seminars, panel discussions, and valuable programs such as one-to-one business partner matching, investment forums, and startup competitions. Additionally, there will be plenty of networking opportunities with both Korean and U.S. government officials, making it an excellent chance to build mutually beneficial relationships at the government level. For U.S. companies looking to enter or expand into the Korean market, this expo presents a unique opportunity to gain insight and connect with the Korean businesses. Overall, the event promises to foster cultural exchange and facilitate business partnerships between Korea and the United States.
Right, impressive. I can see the vital role KAKUSA is playing right now. Now, Mark, shifting gears a little bit here, President Yoon Suk Yeol is currently in the U.S. for a state visit, becoming the first South Korean president since Lee Myung-bak in 2011 to make such a trip. What significance does it have for the Korean community, especially those in business sectors in the U.S.?
Well, as you can hear, and as we know, we work very closely and rely on our Korean business leaders, our community leaders here in the great city of New York. Marvelous things. I love walking down in Little Korea, right in Manhattan. I love working with President James Kim and meeting the business leaders. When we march in the Veterans Day Parade, it's great to see our war heroes of Korean descent honored. It's amazing and important that our two presidents are meeting in Washington right now. It's being covered on our national news. It's covered on your news. It's critical because right now we're facing not only threats of power. We've known what's happened in the Ukraine. We see what's happening in North Korea, but we also need to look at our Mother Earth. We need to look at new production means and new agreements that will protect our environment, clean up the supply chains for security reasons. And not only our friends in Korea, but everybody in the region, Malaysia, Indonesia, the whole world is depending on this partnership. This partnership that has lasted over 70 years. We're celebrating the 70-year alliance. We're looking at bills our Congress has passed, such as the CHIPS bill, and we're all concerned about supply chain, and we want to do more to get more production here with our partners, our business partners in the United States can share in that technological field. The Inflation Reduction Act, it's going to help Korean Americans that are living here. This is going to be a great time for Korean Americans and, of course, all Americans. And we're going to set a standard to make the world a cleaner and safer place.
Right. Now, since Mark pointed out the IRA and the Science and Chips Act, I'd like to stay on that front. Now, James, with President Yoon Suk Yeol in Washington, all eyes are actually on how the Yoon administration will resolve some uncertainties regarding the Inflation Reduction Act and the Science and Chips Act. If those uncertainties get resolved and Korean companies receive benefits as a result, how do you believe small or medium-sized businesses owned by Korean Americans will be able to benefit?
Samsung, the world's largest semiconductor manufacturer based in Korea, recently made a significant investment in the Austin Taylor area in Texas. The CHIPS Act includes provisions that encourage foreign chips manufacturers, such as Samsung and SK, to invest in the United States. However, South Korea has expressed concerns about the program's requirements, which they believe could put their business at risk. If the concerns can be addressed, the program could benefit both countries by boosting U.S. competitiveness, innovation, and national security. Additionally, the Inflation Reduction Act aims to lower energy costs and increase tax credits for small businesses.
Right. I hope the concerns could be lifted for somehow. Mark, President Yoon is actually being accompanied by a 122-member business delegation, his largest ever, on his state visit to the United States. Now, there's a business roundtable scheduled as well, hot on the heels of securing the investment for from the global content platform Netflix that is worth $2.5 billion US. It seems President Yoon Suk Yeol is continuing to focus on sales diplomacy. How do you expect this to go on, and what significance does this have?
Well, it has great significance for all our business leaders, and that filters down to our family and creates job security. We're fighting for better wages for everybody. Here in the United States, our leaders are now becoming more social democrats, and they're fighting to make sure that every family has a good working living wage. So when we look at our major industries, the car industry, Hyundai, for instance, needs chips. Our cars need chips. This CHIPS Act, what we learned from COVID is we must look at our allied countries and our strong alliances like the 70-year alliance with Korea, and we must protect our supply chain so that we can stop inflation. We can't have people make our energy cost higher and more carbon spewed into our air. We need to work with our allies, and this summit with our two presidents bodes well. The large business interest from the major players like Samsung and Hyundai, and of course, Netflix and business associations that are with President Yoon will be able to go back to your Korea, and we'll make a deal. I'm confident that we'll be able to make deals because, as President James Kim of the Korean American Chamber just told you, we met with the Commerce Department. We went down to DC. So we're doing our part. The presidents are doing their part, and business is involved in this mission. It bodes well, and we feel that we will continue to make this planet and our two countries much better place and leaders in this new world.
Right. Now, before I let our experts go, I'd like to each ask you this last question. James, you first. What do you believe should be the center of this new era of strategic partnership between Seoul and Washington? Could you briefly tell us?
Freedom and democracy are the key foundation for strong and prosperous nations. The United States, with its strong commitment to human rights, free trade, and equality, has maintained its position as a world leader in politics and economy. Meanwhile, despite its small size, South Korea has risen to become one of the top 10 economic powers in the world thanks to its unwavering support for freedom and democracy. This has been made possible through the strong partnership and alliance between South Korea and the United States over the past 70 years. As we navigate a new Cold War era where superpowers such as China and Russia are clashing with the United States for global economic leadership and hegemony in Northeast Asia, South Korea's role as a global strategic ally and a powerful global economic partner of the United States is more crucial than ever.
Right. Now, Mark, may I ask you what your view is on this?
Oh, I agree with President Kim. This is a new Cold War opportunity, actually a threat. And we know who we're standing against. And for 70 years, we've stood together well. The assimilation of Koreans into New York City, where I was born and raised, we can see it. The strength is coast to coast in the United States. We're hosting the 21st Annual Economic Summit for the first time right here in California. It's such an important partnership. Our major industry leaders that are here in DC know it. Our presidents know it. And all the citizens of our countries know it. The future will depend upon freedom and protecting our earth and protecting our supply chains and continuing to work together with mutual trust for economic benefit and a better world.
All right. I hope Seoul and Washington's bilateral ties maintain an upward trajectory for another 70 years and beyond based on partnerships across all the areas. Unfortunately, this is all the time we have for today's edition, but thank you, James and Mark, of course, for your insights. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all for Within the Frame tonight. We'll be back tomorrow with more in-depth stories. Thank you for watching and goodbye.